Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you dropped by today. I'll be making a chipboard tag card. This is what it looks like. And let's get right to it. I used the Echo Park 6x6 double-sided paper pad called Flower Market, and it has these wonderful papers in here. And then I also chose these Craft Smart chipboard tags that I found at my Michaels store. They're 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 inches, which is perfect for a 5x7 inch card. Here's an example of the variety of chipboard tags that you get in this set, and there are 50 pieces in this box. So much to choose from, but watch how cute this little truck with the flowers coordinates with this Flower Market paper. Since this is double-sided, I'll be doing my best to not waste any of the paper. And I'll be using this coral card stock, as you'll see later. So again, my card is 5x7, and I am going to cut this down so that I have a 1/4 inch border around all edges of my card. And since I can use one piece of paper to make the entire card, that's the plus of having the double-sided paper. And I'm not going to worry about that little hole up at the top. This way I don't waste so much paper because I can go ahead and utilize that whole piece across the top. Okay, I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 inches. And then I'm just going to make a cut at 3 inches, which will leave me a 3-inch piece and a 3 1/2 inch piece of paper. And I want the top to be a little longer than the bottom. So this is how I'm going to try to align this onto the front of my card. Again, I'm not worried about that little punched hole in the bottom section of my cardstock because I'm going to cover that up with that little piece of coral. So here's where I made a little bit of a mistake. I cut my width at 4 3/4 and I really need to cut it down to 4 1/2 inches. So I'll just bring over my little Fiskars paper trimmer and get that done lickety split. I wanted to turn this around because I'm trying to save as much of that little truck image on my lower portion of my card as possible, since that will coordinate with my tag. Alright, again, to cover up that hole, here's my little trick for that. I'm going to use my coordinating paper here and cut that down to 4 1/2 inches in length by 1 inch width. And then to give it a little dimension, I'm going to be running it through my Sizzix Texture Boutique using a cute little embossing strip from Cuddlebugs. I want to use a little bit of that coordinating paper across the top of my tag because I'm not real crazy about that gold color. I'm not going to have anything else on my card that has gold in it. So I'll just take that little strip and cover right over the top of that. The Cuttlebug Organic Flourish embossing strip will give me just enough texture on both of those pieces to tie that together on the front of my card. Okay, I'll get that run through my Texture Boutique. Goes pretty quickly here. This is one of my favorite things, this little Sizzix Texture Boutique. It's just perfect for small embossing folders as well as these little strips. And it doesn't take up much room in your craft room. So one of my first purchases here, and I've used the heck out of it. Okay, you can see the little bit of dimension this adds to that border strip, which will help cover up the hole in the zip strip on that one piece of my paper. Then I'm going to run this little strip through that same folder. And again, like I said, this will tie my card together from top to bottom. So I'll place that in my Sizzix shims there and run it through. This is such a great little card to make, and you really, if you don't have embossing folders, you can use a plain piece of paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, or maybe you'll find some border stickers you could use. You don't have to have all of these things to make this card. But you know, if you wanted to use the chipboard like this, that's a great way to do this. So again, bringing over my silicone mat, because if you get any kind of adhesives on your mat, whether it's liquid or these tape runners, all you have to do is take your finger and rub that on your silicone mat and it comes right off. So it's a great work surface if you're doing a lot of work with adhesives, because it will not stick to the silicone. Alright, so you can see I've got that just put right across the top of my tag to cover up that gold. I'll snip off the excess, and that's how easy that was to rectify. Then I'm going to take a simple punch, and this is a little tight because of the chipboard, but I can get it right over there and punch that hole. So now my chipboard tag has got a new topper on it, and it's ready to go. Okay, I'll take that little border piece. I've already adhered my other pieces of paper to the front of my card. So I get that put down. Bring my little chipboard tag over. You see how nicely that coordinates? Then out of that paper pack, I'm going to take a little bit of this wood grain paper and my happy birthday die. And I was trying to figure out, it's just a little long for that tag, and since I wanted my tag set askew a bit, I thought it might be better just to stay simple with the words. So I'm going to take this and just clip it apart so I can adhere it straight on my tag. I think this will look just fine. It's a little easier to read to me since I wanted to have my tag kind of askew. And this is what that looks like. Little bit of close-up shots here so you can see the embossing and the die. And then I'm going to take some coordinating ribbon that pulls a little bit of that darker coral out and just make a little loop through my tag here, pull the tails through the opening, and then I'll clip the ends to make those nice and neat. I decided to go for a little contrasting color in my ribbon here to give it a little more pizzazz. Get that situated where I want it. And since I am working with this heavier chipboard, I will use some score tape on the back of it. And score tape is just a little bit stronger. I mean, I think you could use liquid adhesive, but it's definitely stronger than a tape runner. Since this was a little heavier, I chose to go with the score tape. Yeah, I'll get my chipboard tag put on the front of my card. And that completes the front. Goes together fairly easily there, and it's so cute. Another piece of paper from that same Flower Market pad says "Enjoy your life." So I just cut that out with my scissors, and then I'm going to take a coordinating piece from the same pad in that darker coral, get that put together, and I thought it still needed a little something, so I'm going to bring that wood grain to the inside of my card. I just cut a simple strip that I'll slip through behind, center my inside sentiment, and that will do it for the inside of my card. So I think this came together fairly quickly. Here's the outside, the inside, my back stamp, and of course I used a few pieces from that paper pad to add to my envelope and lined it to coordinate with my paper. You can see my YouTube channel for other videos on how to do easy peasy envelope liners. I hope you'll visit and give those a try. So I hope you enjoyed this video today and that you'll come back and see me real soon. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog. Happy crafting, everyone!